Richard Peter McBrien was the Crowley O'Brien Professor of Theology at the University of Notre Dame. Biography. McBrien was ordained as a Catholic priest for the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Hartford in 1962 and is the author of several books and articles discussing Catholicism. He is most well known for his authorship of Catholicism. He also served as president of the Catholic Theological Society of America from 1974–1975. In 1976 he was awarded the John Courtney Murray Award for Outstanding and Distinguished Accomplishments in Theology. He died on January 25, 2015. McBrien's scholarly interests included ecclesiology, the relationship between religion and politics, and the theological, doctrinal and spiritual facets of the Catholic Church. He produced a syndicated theological column for the Catholic press. Although the number of Catholic papers willing to print his column subsided over time, McBrien published 25 books and was the general editor of the Encyclopedia of Catholicism. He also served as an on-air commentator on Catholic events for CBS in addition to his regular contribution as a commentator on several major television networks. He was also a consultant for ABC News. He wrote several essays for the National Catholic Reporter, as well as the Tidings in Los Angeles. Controversy. McBrien was a controversial figure in the American Catholic Church, due mainly to conflicts surrounding his published works and public remarks. USCCB Critique of Catholicism. McBrien's Catholicism sold over 150,000 copies in its original two-volume, 1980 edition, together with its revised, one-volume edition. Catholicism was a widely used reference text and found in parish libraries throughout the United States. Nevertheless, sections within the text have been a matter of contention. Critics have noted that Catholicism does not bear a nihil obstate and imprimatur declarations from the Church that state the book is free of moral or doctrinal error. It was criticized by the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops' Committee on Doctrine on the grounds that it contains statements which are inaccurate or misleading, that it exaggerates plurality within the Catholic theological tradition, and that it overemphasizes change and development in the history of Catholic doctrine, even though official dogmas of the Catholic Church are, according to the Magisterium, unchangeable truths. Scholarly reviews of Encyclopedia of Catholicism. McBrien also served as the general editor of the HarperCollins Encyclopedia of Catholicism. According to the review of that book in First Things, one has the impression that it was written for undergraduates who have little or no idea of what was once the common world and parlance of Catholic culture. The review itself elaborates. It is intended as a handy reference for students or journalists who need a quick and succinct explanation of some Catholic term or practice. It concludes by stating that some articles are models of precision and succinctness. The better ones include revelation, apostolic succession, conciliarism, faith, hell, heresy, homosexuality, immortality, inerrancy, justification, magisterium, Mary, purgatory, and the Vicar of Christ. These have the merit of explaining clearly and concisely what the Catholic Church believes and why. Accusation of plagiarism. A formal complaint was sent to the University of Notre Dame, where he teaches, in January 2006, alleging plagiarism by McBrien. He vigorously denied the claims, and John Cavadini, chair of Notre Dame's theology department, dismissed the charges. The Da Vinci Code. McBrien served as a paid consultant for the controversial film The Da Vinci Code, a movie that offended many Catholics because it portrayed a sexual relationship between Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene. Eucharistic adoration. In September 2009, McBrien published an article in the National Catholic Reporter in which he criticized the centuries-old devotional practice of Eucharistic adoration. calling it a doctrinal, theological, and spiritual step backward, not forward. McBrien's outspoken critique, shaped by an understanding of the Eucharist which centers upon the communal meal, was met with a sharp and critical reaction from some Catholics. Criticism of popes. Criticizing Pope John Paul II, McBrien stated that he's left the Catholic Church with probably the worst crop of bishops it's had in centuries, and that some of my liberal friends just say he's a disaster and can see nothing good that he's done. In a 1991 op-ed piece, McBrien discussed the prolonged, slow-motion coup that has been underway in the Church since the election of Pope John Paul II in October 1978, in regards to the papal conclave. After Pope John Paul II's death, McBrien said several times during the sede vacant that he did not expect Cardinal Ratzinger to be elected. In fact, he predicted that if the German were elected, thousands upon thousands of Catholics in Europe and the United States would roll their eyes and retreat to the margins of the Church. Referring to the conclave itself, McBrien complained about watching 115 men in liturgical dress. There isn't a woman among them. Bibliography. McBrien's Lives of Saints and Lives of the Popes provide detailed biographical information in addition to discussing the larger religious and historical significance of saints and popes. He later published pocket guides to each of these volumes to supply more accessible information. The Church. The Evolution of Catholicism. The Pocket Guide to the Popes. The Pocket Guide to the Saints. Lives of the Saints. From Mary and St. Francis of Assisi to John XXIII and Mother Teresa. 101 Questions and Answers on the Church. Lives of the Popes. The Pontiffs from St. Peter to John Paul II. ISBN 0-06-065304-3. Responses to 101 Questions on the Church. The HarperCollins Encyclopedia of Catholicism. Inside Catholicism: A Roman Catholic Theology, History, and Morality. How to Give Up Sex. Ministry. A Theological, Pastoral Handbook. Caesar's Coin. Religion and Politics in America. In Search of God. The Remaking of the Church. An Agenda for Reform. For the Inquiring Catholic. Questions and Answers for the 1970s. Who is a Catholic Church? The Continuing Quest. The Church in the Thought of Bishop John Robinson.